Hello, welcome. Sorry for the delay. I had issues logging in with Twitch, but everything should be fine now. And we're finally back building a bit more on the Milton Valley Railroad. It's been quite a while because I've had to cancel streams because of busyness and issues and the thing, but we're back. We're back. So let's see how this goes. Dizziness? No, busyness. Just loading in the background. Because I've remembered that I need to turn the shadows off, so I had to quickly relaunch, but we should be there in a moment. Hello, Kango Fango, yes. Almost there. Oh, that's very nice. Hello, Willis1961. Have you started with a grain as well, or have you started a different way? Because if you didn't know, I, yesterday actually started a new Transport Fever 2, Transport Fever 2 series with UK mods, and Willis1961 is playing along with the same map seed and the same mods, as far as I know. Grain, but going in a different direction. Ooh. Okay, it's loaded. There we go. Right. Be interesting to see some potential screenshots of that sometime, if you want to. What? Your face comes above chat on the other screen. What do you mean? Oh, right, yeah, because I see. Someone had suggested to move the my face cam up a little so it's not covering the. It's not covered by the border. It's not covering the border. Sorry, and I'd forgotten to also change the where the chat box is. Okay, so we're still down in this town, which still hasn't got a name, but we'll give it a name soon. Let me just turn the render distance down a bit, because I've got it set higher for the Haddingcott tramway, because I can do that there, because it's quite smooth. So last time, we built a lot of this area, and by this area I actually mean this area. Burlingtown? I don't know. So today I just want to continue placing some houses along here. Maybe have, I don't know, I want houses along, do I want houses along this side or do I just want it like this? I don't know, well, we'll see. I definitely do want houses along this bit here, and then probably also along this stretch along there. Up to here, I don't know if I want the houses to be along this bit as well. Maybe not, for a bit of variety, who knows. And Willis1961, as I messaged you, I did order that book. It's not arrived yet, but I'm very excited about it. Okay, so let's get right to building. So my 200th Trainz live stream is coming up. Can you believe it? 200? That's an incredible number, isn't it? And most of them were spent on this route. To think that when I originally started this, I I didn't even think that we'd get to 100 in this route. I thought it would be done so much quicker, but it really wasn't, as you can probably tell by the fact that we're still building it. Okay, I want to add a little sidewalk here. Did I add the... Yes, I did. Good. I had forgotten if I had actually added it or not. Let's just add a little bit of pavement there. Good, good. And then just keep adding some things. I've heard of Trainz live streams, but this is ridiculous. Is it? Is it really? Okay, so I think last time around I spent a little bit too much time on this. I wasn't doing this quick enough, because at this rate it'll take ages to finish any of this. So I do want to speed up a bit with this. Should I say this enough, or should I say this more? Because I feel that this is a thing that I'm saying quite a lot. What do I mean by this? Well, this, of course. Yes, the actual word, this. Okay. Don't think I want that many houses over here. I think maybe calling this the end of where the houses are. Maybe flattening this out a little bit back here. Should we continue with our movie quotes game? I mean, if you want to, but if we are going to do it, then I'd like to speed it up a little bit, so we don't spend that long on individual quotes, and perhaps keeping it to movies would be a good idea. If you want to continue, if everybody wants to continue with it, because I don't want to bore people as well. Should I have another small road going back here? Probably, if I want this to feel a bit more like a town. Maybe one of these roads. Also, a new episode of the Haddingcott Tramway will be coming out sort of soon. Well, it depends on definition, but I've already got a lot of material recorded. It's mostly a question of... Well, I do want to record a little bit more because I want to finish one of the branches, another one of the branches, and then it's a question of editing it, which shouldn't take too long. Is there enough space to put houses like this? Probably, if I move them a bit closer. Maybe sort of like that. I'll take the lead then. Do I connect the red one to the blue one, or the blue one to the red one? This one's from a TV series. Is it... Well, it sounds like they're talking about disarming a bomb. So maybe some sort of a police drama? Started with the same town and the same brewery, but stayed on the same side of the river. Is that a reference to something? So started with the same town and the same brewery, but stayed on the same side of the river. It sounds like a modified quote of something. I don't really get your... I don't know your quote, Kango. Or maybe I do and I just haven't remembered it. Oh, right, the Transport Fever 2. I thought you meant here in this map, because this is also a brewery. And we started with the town, then we went over to building this factory, and then we went back to this, but yeah. Oh, is it from Penguins of Madagascar, maybe? Is it oh, what was the guy's name? Kowalski, yes. Right, you started with the same town, the same brewery, but stay on the same side of the river. Oh, right, I see what you mean. How did you connect it to the farms then? With trucks, perhaps? Or did you have the bridge later on? I think they were hotwiring a bulldozer, but I could be wrong. Yeah, I seem to remember something like that as well, vaguely. Okay, I've got one. Oh, there's another one on the same side. I'm not sure that I saw that one. I've got a quote. Save the clock tower. It's quite an easy one. It's quite an easy one isn't part of the quote, though. Yeah, exactly. No, not Newspaper Boy. It's the lady in the park who is collecting donations to save the clock tower, to repair the clock. Because the clock was broken ever since it got struck by lightning in 1955. It was 55, wasn't it? Yeah, 1955. And she wants people to donate so that they can repair it. Do I want to put a house here, or is that a bit too much? I think I'm going to have one. Yeah, that's right. Ahem. Okay, is that good? Actually, that looks quite nice like that. Hello, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Finally building a bit more on the MVR, as you can quite plainly see. If you consider the river to run east-west, and the town we started at Erith in the southeastern corner, I think it's actually in the northeastern corner. I built to the west. If we consider that river like that, and then east-west in the southeastern corner. Oh, right. I built to the west, past the oil field, to another farm on the south side of the river. Oh, right, I see. I see what you mean. Yeah, I haven't spent long enough on that map to be able to picture where that is. Okay. So I want to put houses along this side of the road, at least along this stretch here. And then I want to go to, get to detailing some of the backyards and things like that. Then after that, I'll have a look. Either we do a bit more terraforming to actually get the other side of the valley done over here. Well, at least the terrain done. Or maybe we could work on the scenery in this little area a bit more. Who knows? But yeah, getting oil set up, even though I know you've said you've got grain, but because of the oil field thing, getting oil set up is also quite a lucrative business in Transport Fever 2. But it does go over a few more corners, because of course you've got to put the crude oil to the refinery, and then from the refinery you can either ship it to a fuel refinery, which the fuel that you can then ship to towns, or you can, I think, wait, no, was that in, I think I'm getting confused with Transport Fever 1 or something like that, because I seem to remember needing fuel for like plastics, to make goods. Huh. I think we're confusing it with Transport Fever 1. Or maybe it is also in the other one. No, because didn't I have plastics on the other game as well? There's an oil-field refinery and plastic plant on the same sort of... Oh! Ah! Well, there we go. So it is in this version. Yeah, but one thing that they did remove is slag, if I recall correctly, because in Transport Fever 1, when you were making steel, you could also transport slag away. It was a waste product, which if you transported it away from the steel mill, then that actually boosted the efficiency of the plant, or of the steel plant. But you could also use that as a material for construction materials, like an input for construction materials, resource for it. But they removed that in Transport Fever 2. Which makes the steel industry, I feel, a bit easier to do than it used to be. That is the next step I'm working on. Ah, interesting. One of these? No, probably not. Although what people turn it into, I have no control over. Yeah, but yes, I can confirm that the Haddon-Cott tramway project is going very well, and I'm really very pleased with how it's looking. I've also already put a few Easter eggs around the place, which will be fun for people to find. How far do I want the houses to go? Probably... Well, if I have them going up to maybe here on the side, that might work. We'll see. Looks gorgeous from what I've seen, Paradise. Do you mean this town, or do you mean the Haddon-Cott tramway? And then, of course, you're going to say both, but I know that you actually meant the Haddon-Cott tramway. There we go. Ha! Ha ha ha. Okay, maybe one of those houses again. Though, is that the same one as I've used up here? It is good. Snap? Sure, snap. Even though, technically, from my point of view, it really wasn't. But from your point of view, sure. That looks a bit dodgy there, with how the road's laid out as well. But can't really do much about that. Although I suppose you don't really see it that close up from the tracks. I suppose something like this should be fine. Okay, that looks quite a bit samey, but once I've put in hedges and trees, then it should be a bit better. So let's do that now, because I've already started doing it back here. Chemical plant, not plastic plant. Oh, I see. Chemical plant? Hold on. So oil to the oil refinery, fuel refinery, chemical plant. But doesn't the chemical plant make plastics? Because if I zoom in here, then you should be able to see that little Lego brick here, and I think that that is the symbol for plastics. And then you can turn that with steel into general goods, or actually no, that is the only way of doing it. Right, because the machines factory... Yeah, because the machines are a thing that towns eat. Plastics plant would have surprised me in the 1950s. Yeah, but I think it still is a plastics plant. See, plastic. The symbol means plastic. Produced at the chemical plant. Goods factory, yeah. Okay, so let's do this stretch first, sure. 1850s, not 1950s. Yeah, 1850s. I did read 1850s, but I misspoke. Oil field, oil refinery, chemical plant on the same side of the river. Well, that sounds very lucrative. Have fun with that. Just post a screenshot on Discord. Ah, well, in that case, I'll have a look at it shortly. Do I want this down here, the hedge? I suppose the embankment would probably be part of the property, so why not? Let's quickly open that up. Quickly switch over here just in case. One moment. There we go. Oh, right, I see. Oh, so there is one here. I must have just completely not seen that. And yeah, here's the refinery and the chemical plant. And you've got the oil here. Yeah, I mean, if you've got the line going through here, then just extending that a bit further, double tracking this up here, which it looks like you already have, judging by the signals. And the fact that there are multiple trains on here. Yeah, should be quite good. Although, do you have... actually, I suppose there's a general goods factory up here as well. So you've just got to ship them up to here. And then you've just got to find a town that requires, well, general goods, which I can't see on the map at the moment, so you might have to ship those a bit farther. But with Transport Fever 2, I don't think you need the full chains complete to be able to earn profit from industries, because I think they will output even if the whole chain isn't complete. That never used to be the case. You used to have the entire thing complete, and then goods would be generated. And in Train Fever, they actually used to move along the roads as little icons, which I found quite amusing. I went to Erith to Olney instead of Erith to Stockport. Lovely. Was nice in Train Fever when the wooden crates went on walks and such. Yeah, and back when I first played Train Fever, like there were no diamonds. You just had to have crossovers or bridges and things like that. And also, yeah, when I first played, I played on an American map. And so I had all the American trains and things like that. And when I unlocked the Acela train, like, okay, so the way that I used to play was, I used to have a passenger line connecting a station, and then as it was earning money, I used to extend that line further and further and further and further, to the point where I had a single passenger line connecting like maybe 5 or 7 or however many towns back in the Steam era, because I played it the way that real transport works, where when you take a train ride to London or something like that from where I am, which is down in the in Devon somewhere, then you're gonna go over lots of towns, and it's, oh, that town, and that town, and that town, and that town, and I just wanted to recreate what real passenger trains do. So what that meant was that a lot of the bigger towns that wanted to be connected had loads of passengers going to and from there, which were filling up the trains, and then, well, they were already full when they passed by another station, and so that station then had overcrowding, and so the only thing I could do was add more trains. Of course, those trains used to run empty until they came to that station, which means that it wasn't very efficient at all, but it did work. It did work. I did make profits back then with that. I think I'm going to make this embankment a little bit longer. Well, not embankment, this fill or whatever it is, this hillside. Yeah, and so one thing that... Also, another thing was that I never really redid junctions or things like that. When I had a junction, I left it like that for till the end of the game, and so there were a lot of tight corners where trains needed to slow down, and then they were waiting, and then I put in other tracks so that, so that things could move. And when I'll read chat and then I'll continue. Just across the river is coal mine, iron mine, steel mill, and goods factory. Yeah. And this map I originally generated to see if the mods worked, and then I really liked it, and so I saved it for the series. It's just a random seed, as you know. That cargo tram would be nice to run from the brewery to the town instead of the horse and cart. Yes, and I am considering adding the cargo trams. But I need to do tests first. I need to make sure that they work right for me. So, but maybe if they work, then I might add them to the collection on Steam, because that collection will be updated as we add and or remove mods. So yeah, and then when I had played that game so much that I had unlocked the Acela train, I just replaced all my normal long distance trains with it, which of course didn't work out that well. Luckily I had lots of industry going, so money wasn't an issue, and I was still making a profit in total, but with all that old track work and cargo trains using the same lines as the Acela and all those tight curves and things, no, that did not work. It was usually stuck behind something else, and it was costing a lot of money. So yeah, but it did look nice. It did look nice. This is a 4-car Great Western Railways sprinter service to London Paddington, calling at Plymouth, Ivybridge, Totnes, Newton Abbot, Teignmouth, Dawlish, Dawlish Warren, Starcross, Exminster, Exeter St Thomas, Exeter St David's, etc., Didcot, Parkway, Reading, Slough, Acton Main Line, and London Paddington. Do we need garden trampolines? Probably yes. I also renamed the station at the bread factory and put the screenshot on Discord. Oh, let me have a look. Yeah, and I am actually, I won't spoil it. But I won't spoil it. It's for a future. I think about a future Trainz project, because I had some really nice ideas. There we go, just for cargo. Aww. Kango Breadery, look. Aww. Oh, RF for rail freight, I'm guessing. Very nice, very nice. Kutzel Remastered? No, not Kutzel Remastered. Even though that was there is an idea floating around, but no. No. I want a bench here. I know that there's a platform bench, but it looks quite nice there. It doesn't need to be that detailed. And then probably also add the wooden fence, which I believe I have some of down here in this town. Should I Spielzeugbahn Großzwillingen extension? No. Or was this all... I thought I had the... Huh. Maybe I didn't have the... Oh, maybe it was at Northusia. Let's check that. RF rail freight, RP rail passenger, SF SP for ship, AF AP for air. Ah. That seems like quite a good way of handling it. Come on, I have to. Really? I don't have any of the wooden... Where did I use the wooden fence? Like the wooden wall fence. Where did I use that? I know that I used it somewhere. Was it back here? No, I don't mean that. I mean like the wall. At this point, it's easier to just search for it. I mean, using the filters, not the... yeah. I meant an asset like this. One moment. There we go, that's what I wanted. Just something to break the line of sight a bit more. Maybe down through here as well, a little bit. Down the plains, big town around the construction site. I think that was a different fence, but it's okay. I found this one now, and this one works. Yeah, this is for some reason really quite unresponsive. Like it needs a lot of time to update. I wonder why. Would be good if there was a presently used filter option when you can see every asset that's currently on the map. A bit like OMZ2 does it automatically. Yeah, that would be nice. That would actually be quite nice. Although I would appreciate it if that wasn't locked away in Trainz Plus. Okay, so where did I put the fences? The fences, the hedges back here. Okay, I put them on the top with about that much distance. Good. Good, good. I think I'm gonna add some hedges going across like that as well, just to make this look a little bit different. Only with Omsi 2, it only displays the assets that are currently loaded in the tile you're on. It doesn't unload any assets until you quit the game, though. Yeah. Yes, I know. I know that from you. Maybe I should add a little bit of that here as well. Maybe down here as well, because it does look a little empty, I think. Do I want to hedge along here? Why not? Okay. Right. Although I suppose it might look good on these ones as well, because these ones do really look quite open and quite undetailed at the moment. Yes, I know, trees and bushes and things like that will add a lot as well. Are these names good? Birchfield, Birchwell, Archers. I did see them, but I don't know. I don't like them for this area. Maybe somewhere else, I don't know. Not for this area. Acres. Birchwell Acres. I don't know. Not convinced. Oh, well, it's 1961. Have you played around with the freestyle stations yet? Or not? They are great fun to work with. You can also put them underground, and it'll automatically make them into tunnels and make it into an underground station as well. Give fire extinguisher, sweep all. What do you mean? Is that a Gmod reference? I feel like that's a Gmod reference. Not yet. Still getting used to putting in the signals on the wrong side of the track. Yes. And yeah, exactly. Exactly. That is the... It doesn't help that in Transport Fever 2 itself, you have to put the mouse pointer on the other side of the track to have it facing that way, even though that's the normal way that that asset faces. So that's why I misplaced those signals that you luckily saw. Yeah, there's a fire extinguisher. But why the reference? Why is that relevant here? I don't get what, or did you just make the reference just out of fun? Just for fun, I should say. The command's not typed right, not how it works actually, but yeah. Yeah, feel that when placing them. But I think it's the sort of thing that you get used to over time. And I know I'm not having a great variety of tree assets at the moment, and I may replace some of these with other trees. We'll see. Yeah, just fun. Really thought of it because you said great fun to work with. Haha, slowly getting used to it. Shrugs and smiles. Boys. Shrugs and smiles, boys. Although I don't know, do these really need a hedge? Probably. Read what you said, yes. This seems like a quite large area. Maybe I can have a trampoline or something in here. Okay, I think I want the hedge wood wall combination here. Now if I could only remember where... Alright, I used it over here, of course. Of course I did. And not the hedge, I want the wood fence. And Birchwood Acres, shouldn't there be a big well in the middle of a town surrounded by birch trees? Probably, yes. And it probably also should have quite a lot of open space. But I don't think that that name fits that well with this town. No, we still need to do this one. That'd be mighty fine by me. More like pinewood with all these evergreen trees. Yeah, I think I am going to replace some of them with broadleaf trees. But who knows? Whatever looks good. Okay. Is that... Yeah, that's... I think this house needs to go over a little bit like that. And this one as well, a little bit. Just to give a little bit more space here. The next train to depart from platform 2 is the Great Western Railway service to... And that's just where it ends. Sounds like a nice place to live. Yeah. Back to the Future references, I see. Sounded like I was stuttering there a bit, like how I was saying it. In my mind, it sounded like, oh, I'm not speaking quite right, but actually no. Back to the Future references is correct. The town of Pinewood up on Pine Mountain. Perhaps. That might actually be quite a nice name for this. Although I'm not too convinced about the hedge down here. Probably there, yes. But then I think having it just be open might be quite nice. Just having the hedges just back there. Because that's the thing I've noticed when looking around Google Maps at a lot of towns in the US, is that often the houses are just standing out on grass, and there are no fences or hedges or anything like that separating them. Of course it varies, but I've noticed that with a lot of places that I looked at. Up Pine Mountain. Yeah. Pine Mountain Lumber Works owns the log flume and is doing the tree cutting. And fun fact, the CEO of Pine Mountain Lumber Works is also the mayor of this town. I'm sure there's no corruption there whatsoever. Sure dice. The next train leaving at platform 2 is a Great Western Railway service to... We are pleased that you made it through the finals challenge. We were prevented to have a malfunctioning automatic... not prevented. We are pleased that you made it through the final challenge where we pretended to have a malfunctioning automatic announcement system. If that is somewhat accurate. where we pretended we were going to murder you. Right? Is that the actual quote? Yeah, there we go. Another mayor? I hope this one isn't opposed. Obsessed with helipads too. Not opposed, obsessed. Yeah, he's actually quite opposed to them. Who knows? Is there like a small town hall or something that I can place down here? There might be. I mean, no. I just want a small building. Too European. Also too European. I guess there's this building, but that also looks a bit too European in my opinion. Does the Pinewood Mayor also know Lady Sasquatch? No. In fact, he's the main character that they have to keep her secret from. You know, in certain kinds of TV shows where it's like there's a secret and one guy always tries to find out the secret, and just before they find out, they always get like in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where they try to hide the fact that she's a witch from what was her name? Something L. Lily? No. The main antagonistic. Something L. Not Lily. Something similar. Libby, that was her. Yes. Well, they tried to keep it secret from Libby and Harvey as well in the beginning. And it could be that kind of situation where it's like this mayor is Lady Sasquatch and they're trying to keep her secret from the other mayor and things like that. Okay, let's see if there are any other assets that might be useful. I mean, we've got these two assets, which, I mean, maybe they could work. Old West Early Town Hall, Old West Town Hall. Yes, Libby. Antagonist, yeah. Miss Kravitz. Oh wait, wrong witch show. Hahaha. Miss Kravitz. Oh yeah. What was her husband's name? Ebner? Was it Ebner? Her husband? Let me just borrow some sugar. I'm wondering, do you have some sugar? Could I maybe have a look in the kitchen and maybe oh, sugar, why are you giving me the... Oh right, I asked for sugar, of course. You have things fine. I mean, that actually looks quite good. That actually might not be too far off. Although, that should be probably near the... Oops, that's not what I wanted. But yeah, it kind of went a bit downhill when they switched out Darren, I feel. It just wasn't the same. And the fact that they just pretended like it was the same. Like, maybe, why didn't they just make it so that there was some magic spell that went off and they just couldn't reverse it? And that's why Darren looks different, and maybe they spent a couple of episodes trying to explain it away to other people, and then they do things like that. Or maybe like there's something that changes in the past and that's why he looks different, and only Sam remembers how he used to look. Maybe Tabitha as well, who knows. But just switching out the actor and everybody being like totally okay with it and not even noticing that it's different in a show where you have magic that can literally do anything it wants to. Basically magic without rules. Even though there are some vague rules, if I remember correctly, like with that only someone who can't, if it's powerful enough, only some, well actually no, even if it's not powerful, that only someone who casts a spell can undo it or things like that, but yeah. If you couldn't tell, yes, I have seen that show. that you were referencing. But Abner, I saw it. I'll tell you what you should be seeing. What? A psychiatrist. That is the perfect town hall. That one looks good. Yeah, there we go. Fits right in with the rest of the heist. Yes, that's what they should have done. Like this, it's just odd. Maybe if there was like a town square with a town hall. I don't know. Not right on the street. I would like it like this. Yeah, but the thing is, there could be an argument made that they didn't want too much continuity in the show, that they wanted it to be episodic, like they did with Star Trek, where you could watch them in any order and there wouldn't be much of that. But the thing is, they literally have a child, a baby in the show that then gets older and older and grows up, begins to grow up across the show, and you've got continuity with other characters being introduced and that are recurring, and you've actually got a lot of continuity in that show, thinking about it. So why they didn't think about continuity, or why they chose to have continuity in that way, or not have it in that way, is hard to understand for me. Yeah, maybe it's breaking their own rules. Switched. Yeah. I feel like they were not really trying to build a consistent universe. I don't think so either, but yeah. Did you ever see that film that was made? A motion picture. It was made much later on. Maybe in the 90s or early 2000s, somewhere around there. I think it was a Bewitched film. Right? Or am I just... No, I think I'm not imagining that. There was a film, wasn't there? Like a feature film? Okay, so pine trees, check. Houses, check. Check, cross. Okay, so... Oh, right, I still need to put stuff down on this bit. I did see it, but that's pretty much where my knowledge of it ends. Oh, so there was one. I think there was an airplane involved. Yeah, maybe? I don't recall completely. I don't think they gave a lot of thought to continuity in sitcoms back then. No, they didn't. But the thing is, in Bewitched, there is a lot of continuity, actually, with the Witch Doctor as well. And with Darwin, slowly getting used to Andorra as well. And with Aunt Clara as well. And there actually was quite a bit of continuity there. I find. 2005. There we go. Early 2000s. Thank you very much. With Nicole Kidman. I knew I remembered something about that. Although it has been many, many, many years since I've seen that. I should probably have something more here. Maybe some bushes. Hold on, which bushes should I choose? Let's just go down and find some bushes. Actually, maybe I should choose the ones that I used over here. Although those might be a little too large. We'll see. We will see. They also swapped out Gladys. Yes, they did. With the ginger woman, didn't they? Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't remember much about that film. I remember that it had a lot of callbacks to the original, and that I quite enjoyed those, but way back when I watched that film, I think I only watched it like twice in my life. Maybe once? Probably twice. And back then I didn't really pay that much attention to a lot of the things that make up a film. Dun 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 dun. No, sorry, that's a completely different magic witch show theme. If you know where that's from, congratulations. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I did quite like a lot of those episodes, but some of them were also quite boring. But I liked a lot of them. It was interesting how the aunts were represented so differently in the different versions of the show. Does that look good from here? Actually, yeah, I quite like that. You can see that there is a bit more of a barrier there. Bewitched also had a spin-off show for Tabitha, which centers around their daughter, which kind of was nothing to do with the original show. Yeah, true. One of the main things that I remember about that is that in the intro to the show, she kisses her yellow car, which I just found a bit much. Like, that is the thing that stuck with me most about that, which should be quite telling, probably. Okay, so should I have Heis along here as well? I probably should, but it's so slanted that I really can't. The Favi Beetle, yes. I mean, I could have a couple of houses here. That might work quite well. Sabrina actually had 2 cartoon shows and a live-action show. Well, technically 2 live-action shows. Didn't they make a new one recently? I haven't seen that one. Yeah, but the second cartoon, I enjoyed it, but it definitely seemed as though it was aimed at a younger audience. And that new cartoon show, the newer cartoon show, also had a couple of motion pictures, I think, maybe one or two, I think, around it, and those were quite good as well. In one of them, she actually has to go over to this university to actually earn her license, which actually is a big part of the original live-action show, where she has to earn her license, and a lot of the show centers around that, which I did find quite frustrating when I first watched it, because it felt like a bureaucracy was taking away something that was hers and part of her nature, and she was being treated unfairly. But I don't know. I didn't think that much about it. Both shows would have been much better if they'd had coachyards in them. Yes, indeed. New one with a bit of a darker tone from what I've heard, yeah. I haven't seen that. You're having those 3 houses there. I don't know if I like it. The thing is, I like them being there, but the terrain looks a little odd because it looks like they've literally filled in so much of the terrain just for those houses. But maybe if I level it out a little bit over here as well. Yeah, that looks better. That way it looks like the terrain actually originally was a bit higher back here, and then they just built the houses on top of that instead of filling in so much terrain. Okay, let's add a few hedges to those, and then I think I'll go over to doing some terraforming on the other side of the valley to get the general broad strokes a little bit more towards completion. Bit of a dip in there where the dirt road curves. This, yeah, right. I'll have a look at that. Good spot. Oh wait, no, do you mean a different spot along here? Which spot do you mean? Where the dirt road curves? Oh, do you mean this bit? Is this the bit you mean? Well, no, that's an intersection. That's not actually a curve. I'm now not too sure which one you mean. Down towards the bottom. Is this the bit you mean? Can't really do much about this angle because both roads have fixed height. Although actually I suppose I can if I get rid of the gradient here. I'm not entirely sure which... Like, have I fixed it? I'm not sure which spot you mean, unfortunately. There's a new... That's the new cartoon, a singular movie. Oh, it did have a singular movie, and apparently also a sequel series. Maybe it was just the angle from the other side that made it look like that. Yeah, could be it. By those 2 trees. Oh, on this bit. Yeah, that must have just been the angle. Actually, speaking of old TV series, Willis 1961, have you seen The Invaders? You know, David Vincent has seen them and all that. That was quite good as well. Yes, those 2 movies I'm familiar with. I think I preferred the Rome one. I know I have, back in 2016, 2017, I think. Really? I think it was earlier when I watched it. Who knows? Okay, so now let's do some of the terraforming back here. I think I'm gonna need at least 1 more baseboard here. Of course it does that. Back when it was originally on, or when I was just a wee tyke. Yes, I see. Yeah, I saw it on DVD, of course. That show also had quite a bit of progression in it, quite a bit of continuity. which again is surprising for a show of that time, because it starts out with David Vincent being all alone, and then as the show progresses, more and more people find out about the invaders, and then there are like groups of them forming, and you've got I think even some recurring characters, and yeah, the invaders, Time Tunnel. Oh yes, Time Tunnel. What were the names? Doug Phillips and Tony Adams? I know it was Doug and Tony, but I'm not entirely sure. Tony Newman. That was it. Newman. Tony Newman. It might have been Newman. I can't remember his last name. Yeah. Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Land of the Giants. Wait, Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Is that a series? I haven't heard of that before. And Land of the Giants either. Might need to look into those at some point. Hello, Mr. Snipes. Welcome. Doug Phillips and Tony Newman. It might have been those two names, honestly. It could easily be. Actually, no, I don't want to do that yet. I want to do the terraforming first. Billy's free-range chicken house. Noisiest house in the suburbs. It was Newman. Ah, yes. Congratulations. Congratulations. We were both right, yeah. The submarine sea view and the flying sub. Doesn't sound familiar. Could you post an IMDb link? Okay, so how do I want this to go? I really want this valley to come in a little, well, quite a lot actually. Maybe to around there? There we go. Let's have a quick look. That submarine, at least on that little picture there, reminds me of Stingray a bit. Huh. Actually, one moment. I'll be with you shortly. Shortly, I promise. And by promise, I mean mostly promise, because, I don't know, the internet might cut out or something. Actually, no, it does look quite different. I've never seen that, or even heard of it. But it does look like it could be interesting. Richard Bassart and David Hedison. I've never heard of it either. And Land of the Giants. I've not heard of that one either. Pronunciation, I think? Bassart. Bassart? Richard Bassart. Admiral Nelson and Captain Crane. Oh, and about magic shows. Who could forget I Dream of Jeannie? Which also had surprising amount of continuity to it. Especially with Roger finding out about her, and then how that progresses, and originally there being that antagonistic thing going on, and then actually him becoming more and more trustworthy as time goes on. And Bellows getting used to all the crazy stuff that's going on. The first of Irwin Allen's shows, along with Lost in Space, The Time Tunnel, and Land of Giants. Huh. Let's have a look at that. Land of the Giants. Huh. Interesting. Shadows. What had more better continuity, Bewitched, I Dream of Genie, or live action Sabrina? Live action Sabrina, of course. Because that had actual multi-part story arcs in it. Oh, right. Lost in Space, yeah. I've not seen Lost in Space either, but I'm actually really quite curious. Because I've heard that there are actually quite a few similarities with Voyager, like with Star Trek Voyager. But again, I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I'm curious now too. Good. Also, have you seen Space Patrol? No, not that one. I mean the German one. There is, I think, an English version somewhere. I don't know, but it is a show that ran in the 60s, pretty much simultaneous with Star Trek, and it has quite. It is very. It's almost like an even more budget version of Star Trek, but it isn't really Star Trek. It's more centered around instead of it feeling like a naval vessel, it feels more like I don't know, like a fighter crew or something like that, who go on adventures with a spaceship and yeah. Danger Will Robinson. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know about that. He also did the Poseidon Adventure and the Towering Inferno, creating the disaster film genre. Ooh, interesting. Imagine if the Time Tunnel was still in the air to this day. That would be interesting. Okay, now we need to make the road go somewhere. That's what the robot in Lost in Space says. Danger, Will Robinson. Oh! Oh, I see. Right, I have Raum Patrouille Orion. Yes. Ah, I never knew about that. Yeah, well, I haven't seen the show, so of course I didn't know about that. His TV shows were kind of the American live action in the style of Jerry Anderson. Ah, yeah, it did remind me, when I looked at Lost in Space, it did remind me of Fireball XL5 quite a lot. Yeah, there's the link, although you may have to reselect that because it looks like Twitch hasn't completely gotten it to work. It's a famous sound clip, or at least the most memorable one of the show. Interesting. Link didn't work very well. Yeah, but you can copy and paste it into the URL bar, whatever, search bar. Yeah, and if you can't find the English version, then there are subtitles. I don't know how good they are, of course, but might be good. Good boy, robot, warning of danger. Aww. I know I should be doing this a bit later, but I really want to fix this. What do you mean? Oh, I see. Yeah. That was so loud that I heard it in the thing. Oh, there you go. Same link. Thank you both. Beat me to it. Oh, right. Yes, I remember the river. It's actually a little bit lower. It's actually in a little bit of a dip back here, which actually means that I have to apply the... Oh, wait. Did I already make it 5 meter grid size? Ah, no. Back that one. That one is the one I needed to update. There we go. Okay, so this should just kind of go... Actually, I don't want to rotate it that much here. We spend too much time hanging out in the breadery and are starting to think alike. Very funny. Especially if it's true. Okay. I'll do the height painting afterwards, of course, because that's just easier to do. Okay, almost done. One more texture to go. I know there are quite a few others that I haven't, I mean, like this other one that I could use in places, but I don't think it's really that necessary considering how far away it'll be from the tracks. Quench your thirst with a refreshing burst of Moon Man lemonade. Again, I don't get that quote. Is that also from the show or something else? You froze today, what? You froze the date on 12th January 1858, Transport Fever 2. I was slow on the click and froze mine on 13th of January 1959. 1959! You were slow on the click. You were slow on the click and missed it by about a century. Yes, 1858. Yes, I thought that's what you meant. Yeah. Yeah, that happens to me too when when my fingers are off. But yeah, the way that I like to do it with a date is whenever I unlock something exciting and new, I usually tend to freeze the date at that point until I've used it, and then I resume, because I don't want to unlock a thing only to be busy with other stuff, and then by the time I get around to using it, it's become obsolete. Because that used to happen quite a bit in Transport Fever 1 and Train Fever. And with Transport Fever 2, that is now no longer a thing that has to happen. So, yes, that's how I use it. Yeah, made it funnier though. Tang, the drink of the astronauts. Oh, is that another link to that as well? Tang commercial. Really? Let's have a look. Wait, did he say Germany spaceflights or Gemini? I thought it was Gemini. Tang tastes orangey. That makes me think, okay, why isn't it just an orange drink? Why does it taste orangey? What kind of chemicals have they put in it? Although I don't know how widespread artificial flavoring and things like that was in the 60s. Actually, thinking about it, might already have been going at that time. That was the big thing when I was a kid. Oh, I see. It was one of the first instant drinks. Interesting. Okay, so how is that so far? Actually, I quite like that. Of course, I will have to extend the baseboards like another meter or some. Well, another meter. No, another grid, another section that way. Actually, it's a bit of a shame about how this is set up because. Actually, wait a minute. What am I? Wait, how will that work? Hold on, I've just realized something. Because I do want passenger trains to come up here. And in multiplayer, I also wanted to be able to go up here and then go back down that way. Which means I need a runaround thing. But I don't have one here. I was saying about a shame because I really like how this bridge turned out. And I would love it if you'd actually go over it in sessions. But if this is where the map ends, then that obviously isn't a thing. Unless maybe I have a runaround loop over on this bit. And then passenger trains can come over here to run around, then come back. Actually, that might work quite well. That might actually work quite well. Let's quickly do that. All the kids wanted it because the astronauts had it in space. Just put up a big billboard at the edge with "Here be dragons." Yeah. Alright, I can imagine with that commercial. Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want the drink of the star sailors? And yes, that is what astronaut translates to, star sailor. Yes, that needs to happen. Okay, so is this actually on a grade? Yes, it is. Okay. I think the height of the tracks is about right-ish. It had a weird orangey taste, but we didn't care because we were kids. And astronauts! Yeah. I mean, even in the commercial, the guy said it tastes orangey. He didn't say that it tastes of orange. She said it tastes orangey. And when even in the commercial they say that it's essentially say that it's kind of a weird taste, then you know that it's a weird taste. I suppose I should probably also update the switches while I'm at it. Actually, I'll just grab them from... Alright, did I already update the switches here? Yeah, yes, good. Main one. I know main 2 is the one I want. It was supposed to be a dehydrated replacement for orange juice. Ah. Yeah, I see. Yeah, that is a little bug I've noticed. Sometimes the switches disappear when you zoom in too much, which is a little odd. It's like there's a lodding thing on the actual GUI. Well, not GUI. Technically, yes, but on the actual helper. That's the word. That's the word. Company's still around, apparently. Ah, I see. Sales of Tang were poor until NASA used it on John Glenn's Mercury flight in February 1962 and on subsequent Gemini missions. Since then, it has been closely associated with the US human spaceflight program, which created a misconception that Tang was invented for the space program. Ah. And I suppose the company didn't do much to clear up that little misconception, did they? They still make it. I actually bought a jar a few years ago to try it, and it tasted just like I remembered. Weird orangey. Well, apparently some things don't change. Yeah, although I suppose that must have been quite a... what's the word I'm looking for? A trip to the past. No, they cashed in on the space program and sales skyrocketed, pun intended. Yes. I mean, it would. I suppose it would be pretty bad marketing if this opportunity presented itself and they didn't take advantage of it. I mean, at that point, they might as well fire Darwin. What can I say? It was free advertising. Who cares if it's fake or not? If we get the money, we get the money. Ah, this? Oh, Tang ingredients? Okay, reminds me of this. Oh right, I see. With all, yeah, with all this the ingredients in it that are, yeah. I see. One moment. I'll look at that soon. It's always a bit difficult to get a brush working right if it has to, in Trainz, if it has to be like the plateau tool brush, when it has to be done on a small scale like that and you want it to work quite quickly. Uh, 27 seconds in. Okay, let me just quickly listen to that. Yeah, silicon dioxylite doesn't sound like something that should be eaten, but I don't actually know more than the name, so doesn't sound healthy. But who knows? Maybe it's also a natural ingredient, but I doubt it somehow. Ah, there we go. It just wasn't updating for a moment there. Yeah, I want to get this embankment a little bit narrower if I can. Actually, that looks quite nice, like that. Okay, so then yes, we'll have the runaround track here, which means I'll probably have to extend this. I mean, I'm going to have to extend this for like a 1 or 2 baseboards anyway. Then have a portal back there. Actually, that's quite nice. Then we can have a little bit of a taste what it's like back here with the fields on the side. And we can use the bridge in sessions. Okay, back to painting, of course. We'll have a nether portal back there. You'll have a nether portal back there. A nether portal? A nether portal? I mean, if you want, but I wouldn't go on that express. At least not without fire resistance potions. Wait, did it actually delete the road here? Oh, yeah, when I undid the thing, I think it deleted the spline. It sometimes does this. When you undo the baseboard grid size change. Ah, another. Sure. Okay, let's quickly put down the forest. No, not the Admiral, just the actual trees. Nowadays, they can chemically imitate the flavor of almost anything. One time my son got a bag of cheeseburger-flavored Doritos. They tasted exactly like a McDonald's cheeseburger. You could taste the hamburger, cheese, onions, ketchup, mustard, and pickle. Blew our minds. Yeah, I see. Didn't Admiral Forrest appear in Star Trek Enterprise? Yes. He also died in Star Trek Enterprise. In the bombing of the embassy there, the Federations. Well, no, not the Federations. I think it was the Vulcan embassy on. Was it on Earth or was it on Vulcan, or was it the United Earth embassy on Vulcan, or was it the Vulcan embassy on Earth? I don't know. One of those embassies where. Well, what's the Vulcan guy's name? The one who's all the way, the main Vulcan guy. No, not T'Pol. She's not a guy. I don't know. No, not Sarek. No, the character from Star Trek Enterprise, the main Vulcan. No. I thought maybe Savik, but no, that's from Star Trek 2, 3 and 4, technically. No, not Savik. What is that guy's name? Hold on, let me just quickly look it up. It was freaky. I'm glad. I think I'm glad that I didn't look at what the actual ingredients were. Yeah. I can. Yeah. The guy who was originally very antagonistic, but then as the show continued became more and more friendly. Saval! Ambassador Saval. That's the guy's name. This one, I mean. This guy. Saval. Ambassador Saval. Yeah. Because Forrest died saving him from the explosions. Actually, it might be... If I quickly go over to Admiral Maxwell Forrest, there might even be a picture somewhere. The Forge? I think this might be the episode in which he dies. Hold on. Star Trek Enterprise. The Forge. One moment. Yeah, after a bombing destroyed the Earth Embassy on Vulcan, a group known as the Serenites are suspected, blah blah blah, yes. And that is where Forrest dies. So yes, I did remember correctly. I thought that too, not Savvy either. The main Vulcan character was T'Pol. Him? I see. Ambassador Saval. Yes. Congrats, Paradise. Thank you. Praise for remembering things about things that you care about is always welcome. Isn't that where they meet T'Pau? Yes. Yes. And at first when I watched that, like the first one or like the first couple of times when I watched the series, I didn't actually remember that that was the character from the original series. It was only later that I recalled the name and thought, wait, I know that name. Oh, that's the same character, and they live for hundreds of years. It's the actual same character that we meet in Amok Time. Amok Time, yes? It was Amok Time, wasn't it? Yes, Amok Time, there we go. Yeah. And I just found, when that clicked, when I remembered that, when that clicked, that was such a nice surprise. Such a nice thing that I found out about the thing that I already thought that I knew a lot about. Can't even remember, unfortunately. Wait, it was a TOS character? Yeah. Young T'Pau, Amok Time. Yes, T'Pau. There we go. It would have been so nice to have a season 5 of Enterprise. But oh well. T'Pring, yeah. Wasn't she the one who was supposed to be married with Spock? Yeah. That line when Spock speaks with the guy who got T'Pring's hand in marriage. And that line where he says something like, you will find in time that having is not such a pleasing thing as wanting, or something like that. It is illogical, but it is the truth. That was so nice, because it was logical. It was definitely a Spock thing to say, but it was also a thing, like him saying, yeah, you're not gonna have a good time with this woman. Gee, yeah, you're not gonna, it's not gonna be as fun as you thought. And he just has no idea how to respond to that. I really quite like that. Right. Whereas Spock was supposed to mate with T'Pring, yes. And T'Pring's logic was actually really quite good. Because either way, she would win, basically. Enterprise got a lot of hate, but I rather liked it. Yeah, I liked it as well. I did really like it. Yeah, although the long decontamination chamber scenes, I think they stretched on for a little bit too much, in my opinion. It did also have tech issues where, like in the beginning of it, it was like, okay, we have very low tech and we've got to be clever with it and things like that. And then very quickly it was like, oh, here's this other thing we know from modern trade. Oh, and this other thing, where very quickly I feel it kind of just became more of the usual track, which isn't a bad thing necessarily, but I think they could have done more with keeping the low tech of United Earth. Also, the fact that they make it from Earth to Kronos in the first episode, Broken Bow, I think it's called, and they make that journey with the Warp 5 ship, and they make it within what can only be a couple of days, maybe weeks, around there. That, to me, that it took quite a bit to look past that for me, but other than that, yeah, it does have, of course, every Star Trek show has issues, but yeah, I did really quite like Enterprise. Yeah, if they also gave the series 7 seasons, I'd as well. Scott Bakula was great in that, along with the others, of course. Yeah, a couple times Scott Bakula's acting in that, there were some moments where it didn't quite fit with how I read the scenes, but yeah, that's okay. It had a few bumps in the middle, but it was definitely improving greatly. Yeah. Unfortunately, with Nemesis having come out and basically only just about breaking even, yeah, that was pretty much the end of that. And then, of course, Star Trek Enterprise was cancelled shortly after. So yeah. Could have also been nice having more with the Columbia around, so that which is, if you don't know, is the NX 02, like kind of being a bit of an upgraded version of the Enterprise, because they've had time to improve it. That could have been nice as well, so that the Enterprise is no longer alone out there, which of course it wasn't. And then I think I watched a video where someone said that the plan was for season 5 for Shran to become a regular on there. I don't know whether he originally was intended to become a member of the crew, maybe, because with the Romulan, because the season 5 was intended to be the Romulan War, and it would make sense if they have a Vulcan on board the ship, that the Andorians would also want to have one of their representatives on board the ship. And then having Shran be a regular cast member, that I think could have been a lot of fun. But oh well. I'll read that in a moment. Once I've moved these trees off the line. But wait, there's a tree on the line. Oh, never mind. It's been moved away. It's been moved away. But wait, there's a forest on the line. Oh, never mind. It's been moved away. It's fine. Don't worry. Maybe they unknowingly went through a wormhole to get there? What do you mean? Oh, you mean the Kronos? No. No. Because they chose the Enterprise because it was fast. But the thing is, fast in that time is still incredibly slow. And they did a good job in the first season of keeping track of where the Enterprise is after that point. Like how far out it is, how many, because they do regular, I remember they did regular call-outs of, we are this many light years away from Earth, and we are now this many light years away, or things like that, which, yeah. Yeah, such a pity, isn't it? I like the episodes where they tied in with a few TOS episodes, Tholian Web and Mirror Mirror, and found the Defiant in the Mirror Universe. Oh yes, I really like that as well. I remember when I first saw that, I thought, wait, is that the Enterprise? No, that wouldn't make any sense. Oh, the Tholians! Of course! The Defiant! And that made so much sense. And I loved that they actually recreated the ship to look like the original series ship. Unlike with what they did with Discovery, where they basically reimagined it. But the thing is, with Discovery, when that came out, there were interviews where they said, well, the 60s design isn't that it isn't modern enough to look good in high definition CGI. It's just too simplistic. But that's not true, because in the Enterprise, Star Trek Enterprise, they did it with the Defiant, and it looked amazing. It actually, and the thing is, in comparison to the Enterprise, like in the NX-01, the beautiful, sleek whites and grays of the Defiant actually really do look like a really significant advancement in technology. Like you believe that is that powerful ship that it's shown to be in the show. But oh well. Yeah, Shran. Admiral Forrest is on the line? What do you mean Admiral Forrest is on the line? I don't quite recall the context for that. I do remember that vaguely. Definitely remember the USS Defiant and Star Trek Enterprise. Sure it is. Maybe it was the Q? Nah. Yeah. They did an amazing job of recreating the TOS Constitution class. Yes. The interior as well. With the interior, they did update some of the computer panels to look a little bit more functional, but they did it in a very respectful way, I find. What was the context? Oh, right, Romulan War. I don't know. But yeah, but people love 66, yes. I haven't watched any episode of Discovery other than the pilot, but I saw pictures of the version of Enterprise. It was definitely better than JJ. Oh yeah, definitely, it was definitely better than the JJ. I mean, Oh, Forrest on the line. Yes, of course. So the thing about the JJ prize is just the ship alone, without any context as to the original ship, or just on the design merits on its own. I think it has some good qualities to it. I still prefer the original, but I think it's not that bad of a design personally. It's just when you think about what it's supposed to mimic, well, not necessarily, what it's supposed to be, and how huge it is in the show, that's when it kind of falls apart a bit. Because, yeah. Yeah, but purely from a design perspective, I don't think that it's actually that bad, just as a spaceship. not necessarily as an Enterprise. But yeah, with Discovery Season 1, I really, really disliked. Season 2, I disliked slightly less, but I also really quite disliked most of it. Season 3 actually has quite a... Season 3 has improved quite a lot. It's still an action show, quite clearly. And it still frustrates me that these trained Starfleet Federation officers can't seem to have a normal conversation in a crisis situation without either shouting at each other or breaking out in tears. But it has improved, I would say. Which a large part of that is also because they moved it forward into the future, in case you weren't aware. But that has issues. I could go on for a long time about that, and I don't really want to at this point, because it isn't that pleasant a thing. There's the Defiant. Is that the right? Yeah, that's the correct one. The JJ Prize and JJ Verse does not exist in my universe. They are just a bad nightmare. Yeah, if you see it as part of the Star Trek canon, then yes, absolutely, I agree. And the main thing with the original 2009 Star Trek film is that people tend to watch it as a Star Trek film. And as a Star Trek film, it doesn't work, because it's not a Star Trek film. It's an action film with Star Trek-inspired designs and terminology. If you watch it as a sci-fi action film, not as a Star Trek film, then actually there are quite a few bits about it I like. Like, for example, I do quite like the music, and again, the ship design of the actual Enterprise, I think has some good elements to it. But yeah, as a Star Trek film, no. Yes. If they had introduced the JJ Prize as a ship that some aliens have built based on the, at the time, ancient Terran blueprints, but bloated it to a huge scale, maybe, that would cause a whole bunch of other issues, I think. Yeah, Star Trek Disco also does not exist. Yeah, I can definitely see that, because with Star Trek, I mean, at least with the J.J. Abrams films, there is a... I don't know what I actually want to do. I want to paint a bit. There's actually a... It's at least possible to make it fit within the canon, because they said, okay, this is a completely different timeline, it's not connected with any canon whatsoever, so it's a reboot, we're doing our own thing here, it's not connected, we're not trying to mess with the original timeline much, we're not trying to retcon anything, this is our own separate thing. And because of that, I think I can accept it more than Discovery, because Discovery actively contradicted so much of canon and destroyed so much of that it just yeah, basically yeah. And Lower Decks, I do quite like Lower Decks, actually. It is quite high energy, like there are barely any pauses where it just takes time to actually slow down and catch its breath, which is a criticism I have about it, but it seems to respect canon mostly. It has some interesting stories and brings up some interesting points. There are some things that I don't quite like about it, but some really quite smaller things, really. In general, I do quite like it, yeah. season 2 of that was also quite good. Yeah. Spock, a Vulcan Starfleet Academy instructor, having an affair with one of his students. Just too logical for me. Yes. If you look at it as a Star Trek film, I agree. It doesn't work. Yes. Yeah, J.J. Price was built by Nomad and V'Ger. Imagine that, Nomad and V'Ger teaming up. Now that would be something. Ahem. I haven't seen Lower Decks. I think it's at least worth to... I think it gets better in season 2. Lower Decks, I think, gets better in season 2. And I would say it's worth to at least have a look at. I could easily see it not being someone's cup of Earl Grey, but I quite enjoyed it. All in all. Alright, Lower Decks is quite a fair bit more fast-paced than other Star Trek shows, but I like it too. I think it got better in season 2 as well. Yeah, it did. Quite a lot of shouting in it as well. That is true. But that's just the general high energy thing. I think I'm glad that I don't remember that. Yeah, what about Star Trek Picard? Doesn't really feel like Star Trek to me. Yeah, Star Trek Picard is it's a bit of a mixed bag. There are things about it that I like, and there are things about it that I really dislike. Some of the things that I like about it are the bits where Data is in it. I like the... what was it? I like Deanna and Riker, and to see a little bit more of where they end up. That just felt so right to me, that episode, seeing them there. That actually felt like a true continuation of that story. I liked the... I liked some of 7 of 9, but there also were quite a few things that I didn't like about it. I didn't like the fact that I don't know if I should give spoilers or not. I didn't like how the Federation was portrayed. Which I know is the point of the show, part of the point anyway. But I didn't like that because the Federation has always been, or rather mostly been, not always, that is true, but mostly been a utopia, a place that is better, a bright vision of the future where corruption does still exist a bit in some episodes, but it's shown to be an outlier, and they're the good guys. They are the ones who actually do help, basically. And then to have the Federation portrayed the way that they were in that show, in the backstory and then in the modern thing, that I didn't like. It just felt like a thing that I cared about was being taken and twisted and made dark, and yeah. And then, of course, there were also quite a few plot holes in that show as well. And I also really didn't quite like that whole thing with the Romulan guy and his sister. That was a little uncomfortable, I found. Actually, it was quite uncomfortable. But there was also the thing with Picard needs to get a ship, okay. He's on Earth. He's literally at the heart of the Federation. And Picard, yes, he's retired, but Picard, who has the vineyard and everything, needs to get a ship. He needs to get transport to a place. And he has to hire mercenaries to do that. Like, that makes no sense. First of all, hiring mercenaries means money transaction on Earth. Okay. Then why, like, wouldn't his reputation alone be like, couldn't he just go to Starfleet and say, hey, I need to go to this place, is there a ship going that direction? And someone of his renown, it just doesn't seem realistic that he would have trouble getting transportation from Sol. And even with that, couldn't he just hire like a private ship or even buy one if there is money involved? And then I didn't like the ship design, and when the other Federation ships appeared, those designs were literally taken from Star Trek Online, changed a little bit, and that in and of itself I actually would quite like, because a lot of the Star Trek Online designs are actually quite good. But what they did was they just copy and paste the ship a whole bunch, like a couple hundred times or something like that. And it's like, there is this huge Federation fleet and they're all facing that direction. And then there's this huge Romulan fleet, hundreds of ships facing the other way. And it's so big, it's such a danger, which just, it makes it less personal. It makes it feel like they want to bloat the stakes. Like in the original series in TNG, DS9, well, DS9 actually was the first time where they had, actually no, it was Best of Both Worlds where they had large groups, but then in DS9 they had those fleets. But even then, they had the focus on individual ships. And in most confrontations in Star Trek, it's 1 or 2 ships. And that makes the ships feel powerful. When you have a shot of literally hundreds of ships on either side, and they're like set like that in space, looking at each other, then that just makes it feel boring, in my opinion. But there were also other plot holes, but anyway. So that's what I think of Captain Picard. There are parts of it that I really like. The music, by the way, the intro music, that is really good. I really, really like that. But there are other parts where it just kind of falls apart for me. Yeah. What do you think, Kango? Doesn't really feel like Star Trek to me. And Kirk, an academy dropout, promoted from cadet to captain and given command of the flagship of the fleet with virtually no experience. Yes, and another huge part of the J.J. Abrams films that that also doesn't work for me, the first one I mean, is when Spock takes command of the Enterprise, he orders Kirk, he basically arrests Kirk, but he doesn't throw him in the brig. Instead, he goes to this ice world and sends him down in a shuttle pod, where he almost dies, by the way, almost gets eaten and frozen and eaten again. And then he just happens to go into a cave where he meets old Spock. That's just completely by chance, because modern Spock thought it was logical and totally not emotional to strand Kirk on that planet, a shuttle pod, even though he had him arrested and not just thrown in the brig. It's like... Anyway, I haven't watched any of the shows that require a subscription to watch now. Yeah. Also, I can't remember, how did they explain Data still existing in... when he, spoilers, died in Star Trek Nemesis? If you want me to explain it, I think I remember, but I'm not sure that I should spoil it in case anyone is interested in watching it. Now, the new one with Captain Pike on the Enterprise looks interesting. Yes, because in Star Trek Discovery, the main bit that I liked about Season 2 was Captain Pike and the Enterprise, with actually number one. His original number one, originally played by Barrett. Now that I really quite like, so that looks promising, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I need to get some bushes. Oh, we've gone a quarter of an hour overtime. Right, okay. I'll play some bushes, then I'll finish reading chat, and then we can get a thumbnail, and then... yes, basically. So I'll place a couple of these here just so that I don't forget. Although I don't know if those look very well there. I think a tree in the corner might look a bit better. Hold on. But we're making progress. Maybe one of these trees. Maybe. Okay, so let's see. What sort of a thumbnail would look quite nice? I mean, that could work, but the thing is I built the bridge last time, although perhaps. Or maybe something like that. Actually, that could look quite nice. Oh, and I've just remembered a thing I wanted to show in this stream, which I actually wanted to show a while ago, but I was focused on other things, and I've forgotten. I'll do that next time. Next time around, remember, you wanted to show something, and then I'll show. I think one of those two will be fine. Let me just give you a nice little view of something that we made. Maybe just while I read chat. I think I actually quite like the view back here. Let's just have it sort of like that. So, right. And Kirk and Academy dropout, promoted to cadet, to captain, and given command of the flagship of the fleet with virtually no experience. Yes. Haven't watched any of the shows, right? Emma says, the new one with, yes. Alright, Stranger Worlds, yes. There's also a Star Trek Prodigy CGI show, but I've not seen that either. Yeah, Star Trek Prodigy might be good. It's aimed at it's CGI set, I think, 7, how many years? 7, 8 years? Some years after Voyager returned home, I think. And it's aimed at a younger audience, but it might be good. It might be good. I'm definitely interested. They have turned Roddenberry's vision dream into a nightmare. Yep. Who did? With which show? I mean, started with Disco. Yeah. But the thing is that people, according to videos that I watched where people discussed this, they said that people said the same thing about Deep Space Nine as well, and that Deep Space Nine was too dark in some areas, and that went against Gene's vision, and that, for example, also Section 31 being a thing. Which, I mean, I think that I love DS9. DS9 is great, but there are some people who say that it started all the way back then. I mean, if you really think about it, you might also be able to say that it started all the way in Wrath of Khan, when creative control was taken away from him. But anyway. And seem to be following that new vision with all new shows. Lower Decks is a little different. Lower Decks respects canon. It has lots of references and lots of things with it where, like, oh, actually that should be, oh, it is that way. Oh, it actually is like we've seen it before. Oh, that's great. Anyway, would be nice if they went back to the classic format. Yeah, true. What? Data died? Snape killed Data? Yeah. I also have issues with that film, with Nemesis. Harry Potter is dead. Crowd laughs. If you're gonna make a sci-fi show, especially when it's a Star Trek show, you've got to have a ship that's appealing to the viewers. Bene. Potter! Captain Picard? Think you mean Star Trek Picard. Alright. Hopefully they'll release it on DVD at some point. Sure is. Alright, don't worry about spoiling then. I'll look it up after the stream. Oops, overtime. Got to be a birch tree. I think I prefer this one. Stream goes so fast when you get into discussion. Yes, that is true. Indeed, crosslines. Props some sudden for next time. Time of day. I think this is okay. Show something? Noted mentally. Hey Shredders, don't forget next stream you want to show something. They have an episode called Time Amok. Oh, do they? Huh. I was unaware. Yeah, a reference to Amok Time. Oh, right, I see. So, I think that's probably a good place to end it. So with that, thank you all very much for watching. The stream, of course, will be archived. And I'm really happy with the Transport Fever 2 thing. Oh, hold on, why can't I... one moment. Okay. So yeah, I'm really happy with Transport Fever 2. Quite excited to get back into that game. And yeah, that's it basically. So tomorrow, I'm guessing another convoy. Oh yes, we're gonna do the blind blunder thing, if I recall correctly, with promos. We're starting in somewhere in the UK and going up into to Iceland, I think, or was it Greenland? No, it would be Iceland because that's closer. Newcastle to Iceland. Yeah, just down the street. Oh, sorry, not the shop. Right. Oh? Why oh? Yeah, it is fun. The small hyphen, short one? Do I? Really? Oh, I do. Well, there are the new ones. Anyway, I may fix that. I may. Anyway, good night. Bye bye. And yes, there we go.